YouTubers, subscribers, and friends. Well, here's another video series of me living in Indonesia. In this video, I'm going to discuss how I took this townhouse here and renovated it so that my wife's brothers, they could sell it, liquidate the property. As you can see, I already started with the grass. I planted sod out here and bushes here to give the front of it little greenery. And what I'm going to do in this townhouse is that her brother owns the one on the left, which is the exact duplicate of this, but it's on the left. Everything on the right is flipped over and it's on the left on this side. So say you have, this is a kitchen area, there's a kitchen area on this side. So some of the things I did in this townhome is this was a 2-bedroom. There's 1 bedroom here, and there's one up here for the servants. And what this is right here, this goes into the kitchen, but there's a round stairway that goes up to here, and that's all this is, just stairway. And I get rid of these circulation vents here because when it rains really hard, the stairways get all wet, and they're metal stairways. Same way up here, that the water just goes right in, and it's like a waterfall because it rains so hard in Indonesia. And this is just a little 8x8 room at the top for the servants. Most families have servants in Indonesia that like clean the house, do the laundry, do the cooking, stuff like that. And this is just a room, square room that goes straight up, and it's just a round stairway. And then on the other side is just a little open balcony. And so I'm going to change this over to a 3-bedroom instead of a 2-bedroom. It's going to have 2 bedrooms down here and 1 bedroom up there. So let's go through these pictures here. So as you can see, here's the stairway right here. It's metal, goes up and it comes up and goes like that. And this is where the kitchen once was. It's just a basic bland looking kitchen. Oops, kicked the tripod. And just pretty boring kitchen. Kitchens in Indonesia are not like in America. They're not a focal point because people that live in the homes usually don't do the cooking. The servants do it, so they really don't care what the kitchens look like. Like I said, there's the kitchen. There's the plain white tile. I'm going to put a bedroom right here on the other side. Right behind that is the courtyard. There's a courtyard right out there, so I'm going to make a bedroom there. What we're doing here is we're putting in drainage for the kitchen, because I'm going to move the kitchen from right here. I'm going to move it to over here and make it a little bit nicer looking. Okay, here's the there was a door right here. As you can see, we built a wall right here because we're going to put a bedroom on the other side, because this was just all courtyard right here. It goes out here and goes out about maybe, I don't know, 6-8 feet that way. And I built a facade here because I'm going to make a decoration back here with shelves to put plants in there. And this is the, when you walk in the front door, this is the living room right here. I'm going to knock out the ceiling and put a nice ceiling in there. Okay, we knocked out this wall. If you go from this picture, if you go right here, it takes you to this bedroom on the right that you see from the front. And then the bathroom was right there, right where this guy is standing. You turn right, the bathroom was right here. So we knocked out this wall that goes out into the courtyard right here. This is outside there. So we're going to put in a supportive beam here because we're going to move the bathroom that was right here. When you took a right, the bathroom's right here. I'm going to move it to outside, to the courtyard outside. So I have room for like a little dining area there. And we can make the bathroom bigger. The bathroom was really small. So here's what I'm talking about. Here's from the front. You take a right. The bathroom, as you can see, what the wall was right here. The bathroom was right here. So it was just this little, maybe, I don't know, 3.5 foot by 3.5 foot room bathroom, just because they don't use toilets. Most people don't use toilets. They have what they call squatters. And you can see right here, I knocked this wall out. This was a solid wall. We knocked this wall out. That's why we're putting a supportive beam right here. So you can go out to the courtyard and go into the bathroom. And here's that bedroom, front bedroom in the front here. I didn't do anything to that except change the ceramic tile. And we take the big little bathroom here, and we doubled the size and moved it out to the left there, out to the courtyard. And we shortened the courtyard down. There he is building the bathroom. We're putting this circulation vents in there so the air can get into the bathroom. And it's not so hot in there because it's really, really hot in Indonesia. On the other side of this wall is my wife's family, parents' house, called the big house. I call it the big house. And this is the guy I call Mr. Bean. He never really talked too much. This is the third job that he's been doing for me. So far, this has been about, I don't know, 7 months into me knowing this guy working for me. And he still really didn't talk very much. He didn't know that much English, but they all pretty much learned a lot of English by the time a little over 3 years that I lived in Indonesia. These guys were always with me. After 3 months of living there, then I started doing stuff. And yeah, these I'm going to put plants in there. We built a brick wall up against another brick wall in the courtyard there. Everything they use to stand on is made out of bamboo. I mean, the bamboo is so cheap. They make it, and then when it's done, when they're done with the job, they burn everything because they don't never transport anything with them. Okay, here we go. We're standing from the bathroom. Right here, if you turn and look that way, you're looking at a room that I added out in the courtyard. Now this was all courtyard, this was all a backyard, and I thought it was wasted space. So we built a wall right here, and this is going to be a window, and this is going to be a door, and we added another bedroom, a whole another bedroom. It was like a 12 foot by 12 foot size bedroom, pretty big bedroom, bigger than the one that faces the front of the house. Because when I was building my house, which is right across from this townhouse, my first video, my first home I built, people were coming and looking at this because they had been trying to sell it for like over 2 years, and everybody was saying it's too small. It's only 2 bedroom, 1 room for the people who own the townhome, and 1 room for the servants upstairs. So I told my wife we need to add another bedroom because people aren't buying it just for the reason because it's too small. So I took the courtyard and turned it into a bedroom. That's inside. This is looking at the new wall that we built. That's going to be on the other side of this wall is going to be the new kitchen. Here we are standing in that bedroom facing the outside of where the courtyard used to be. Well, it still is a small courtyard, and that's going to be the whole new bathroom. The bathroom is twice the size of what it was before when it was inside here. So, and then I make a special bathroom too. This is standing in the middle of the courtyard facing the front of the house. If you look out here and look to the right, my home is over here, and we're closing in this wall right here. As you can see, I'm noticing these bricks because the bricks aren't they don't keep water out very well. This is the front bedroom right here. This is the guy who climbs up coconut trees. I can't remember what his name is, but man, he climbed them fast, barefooted. Here we are. We're just repairing some wall damage that when we were knocking this wall down, they've had to fix that. Here's the plumbing they run in the ceiling. Like I've been saying, I don't know why here's the pipes going down into the new bathroom. And it's really cheap plumbing too. That stuff always ends up leaking. That's the front bedroom. This is where we stored everything. Okay, here's standing in the front bedroom looking to where the new bathroom is going to be. It's a pretty big bathroom. There's how big the bathroom is. We're going to put a wall right here. Close that in. It's a pretty good sized bathroom now. That's what the old kitchen looked like. That's it. Just a sink and a little spot right there, and that was it. That's an Indonesian kitchen. You can see the European style plug there. Let me see if I can zoom in on it. It's a weird plug. It's like a round. The plugs are like round. They're not like plugs we have here in America. And this is looking out to the servants' entrance. You can see the stairs right there. I put a little storage area right over there too, right underneath the stairs. Wasted space. And there's the finished product of what the outside looks like. You can see we painted it and put the sod and the bushes and everything. I closed these. If you see here, these vents right here, this is my wife's brother's. He inherited it, and he didn't care. He's just going to rent that out. But I closed these vents. He's got the vents up here to let the air circulate in the house. But yeah, I want to keep the rain out of this because it's very dangerous, man. You get the stairs, the metal stairs, and they get wet and you slip and you can fall down and get hurt. But yeah, I closed them here and I closed them upstairs. You can see to the left, and I changed the color of the house. You can see from here's the one in the last video series we built, and that one sold before we got finished building it. This is different color than that, and it's different color than this. And you can see down here I painted these gold just to make this stuff pop. That's what the outside finished part looks like. There's a closer view of it. Actually, I'm taking a picture of these gold pillars here, painting them gold. And there's a view from the front servant's entrance looking to the kitchen. I put black granite up here and put some decorative thing and hanging lights, and very beautiful. As you can see up here, I raised the ceiling, and I put these kickboards up here, and they had little design on them, and I painted them gold just to bring out the design of those kickboards. You see there, so it makes it, and it's got recessed lighting and hanging lights. That's standing at the front door looking in. You can see straight through. I didn't close this in, I left it open because up here at the top where this where you can see over the wall, we put a metal mesh all the way around that, like I did in my house, to keep the rats and mosquitoes and stuff out. So this was open all the time, and you can see the kitchen there. There's a better shot of the kitchen. I put ceramic down here and then ceramic here, and I put those curved things like I did in all the other bathrooms and barbecues in my house I did, and put a little decorative piece right there just to break up the color there. Oops. Come on, focus. Just to give it some art, and I put around the top too, a decorative piece around the top just to make it look different, even though it's really just for servants to cook in there. I still wanted to make it look nice, and all this stuff is for storage. And over here they put a stove and a refrigerator in, not a big refrigerator, one of those like college refrigerators, those like 3-foot high ones. And then there's a plug over here so they could put their rice cooker and stuff right there. But and then this before was where the bathroom was. So not only did I add an extra room and doubled the size of the bathroom, I put this is for a little dining area. What we did eventually with this is we put this wood, we hung it up here on the wall as a decorative piece. We put one here and then one higher and then one lower and one higher, just kind of break it up. I don't think I got a finished picture of it, but it looks really nice. When we repainted the whole inside of the house, there's the front bedroom. We revarnished the doors to make the doors pop so they look nice, and changed the tile on the floor. I put bigger tile to make it look bigger, give you the impression of the floor being bigger square tiles. And there's the roof again with the recessed lighting. Let's see if we can see this in here. Just to make the room feel bigger. So that's why I raised the ceiling, because that's what everybody was complaining about when they were coming to look at the house and they were trying to sell it. It was too small. So I wanted to give the feeling of being bigger. And here's the window, like I said in the last video. See how the window opens out? That's as far as you can open that window out. I didn't want to put it to the window opens like that because this is a front entrance, so I just went with the old way. And then I let these ventilation vents open. I didn't close them because it has the overhang there, so rain can't get in there when it rains. There's a closer shot of what the ceiling looks like. I mean, I did that in my house and everybody loved that, so pretty much every house I built after that, I raised the ceilings. Indonesian people are pretty short. My wife's like 4'8", 4'8". I'm 5'7", so I'm pretty tall for it. To be in Indonesia, I'm not tall in America, but in Indonesia, I'm pretty tall. So yeah, I really like that ceiling with the recessed lighting and highlight it. When I asked the guy who painted my house to do this, he was like, "Why? Why would you want to do that?" But once he started to do it and he had one piece done, he was out there with a camera. He was taking pictures. And he was like so impressed with himself that how drastic changes that makes. And I mean, it brings your eyes up to the ceiling, so you don't realize how small that room really is. It's really 12 foot wide. That's how wide this room is, 12 foot wide. So give it an illusion of being bigger. This is standing back over here where the small dining room is, where the old bathroom used to be. It's back looking towards the kitchen there. You got all the I installed they don't have cable, they have satellite, so I installed the cable here for satellite. You can plug it into the satellite there, and then you got the switches there. I put dimmer switches so you can dim the lights, all the recessed lights, and then I got these hanging lights here, which are, just for decorative reasons. Get a closer look. I thought they were pretty when I was shopping for lights, and they were a little expensive, but I told my wife it doesn't matter, it's just what's going to help sell the house. And then here's the extra bedroom that I added to the right there. And this house also, it sold before we finished remodeling it. I mean, people were coming in and looking at it, and it wasn't painted yet, and we were telling them, how we're going to paint it and stuff, and they love the recessed lighting. There it is. Here's the design I got. When we built this wall, and I was looking at the bricks, if you look back in the previous video, the beginning of the video, you could see the bricks, and I thought, man, that just looks ugly. I mean, who wants to look in the backyard and see bricks? You can paint it, and we didn't paint this. This was waterproofed, and I just said it looks ugly. So I told him I got on a piece of paper and I drew lines to see what it looked like, and I drew these squares. And I showed it to my wife, and she's like, what are them squares for? Why do you got squares on the wall? I'm like, well, they're going to be recessed. And so you can put plants in there, because people in Indonesia, they really love gardens. Have gardens, they love to have plants and stuff. So instead of just looking out here and seeing this ugly water pump, I said, let's put some shelves in here. And that's what we did. These are cactus. And these are just plants. And I thought, wow, it makes it look a lot better. I think crooked here. Tripod looks like it's crooked. Issues with tripods. So that's what the courtyard looks like. And this is just the add-on room that we painted. I think that's color's turquoise if I remember the color. And again, I put the kickboards, I put the ceramic around the bottom of the floor there to make it look a little bit better. And that's standing in the courtyard looking at the finished bedroom. See, now this window opens out, so you can sit on this window. And people in Indonesia, they like to smoke a lot. So instead of smoking in the bedroom, you can sit open this window, which will open against this way towards the back wall, and have good circulation. Sit in the window and smoke. There's standing in the courtyard facing the bathroom, and I made it a custom sink. I saw these vases that this guy was making, and I thought the vases looked really cool, and I said I want to turn that into a sink, because it has a 3D design that sticks out of the vase there. And we drilled a hole in the bottom of that and put a drain in, and there's the faucet right there. Try to focus. It's just nothing fancy, just water spigot faucet. And laundry sun. And put a round light there. And I put a sitting toilet. I didn't put a squat toilet because I don't like squat toilets. And I figured that people in Indonesia usually don't buy the regular toilets because they can't afford it, so that's why they go squat. Sorry, trying to set up my tripod straight, driving me nuts. And then the floor, I carried on my tradition from my house that I did the service bathroom with rock. Well, I did a whole floor with rocks, and so when the floor gets wet, you don't slip and fall. It's kind of a grit to it, and turned out really nice. There it is. I mean, it's a beautiful looking floor. I mean, everybody loved that floor when you walk on it. And we tested it out a lot, and so we got like a little built up here so the water doesn't sit around this. It will flow away, and then the drains that way. And I just thought it looked cool. Everybody loved it when they saw that the workers were. When I told them I was going to do rock, they thought I was going to do the wall again, like I did the service bathroom in my house. And I said, no, I'm going to do it different. Just do the floor. We're not going to put ceramic in it. We're going to do this. And I did the old school instead of building the square thing that they fill up with water and they just leave this water running and the water overflows. I bought the bigger size vase, like in the sink, and I wanted to, keep them together so it matches. You got the sink and the water basin there to match. And this is a drain pipe right here. It goes into the, it drains out into the street. The water, all the water from the shower, the sinks, the kitchen sinks, go out to the street, pour out into the street and drain into the street. And then all the water from the toilet goes into the septic tank. That's why it's such a little square septic tank out in the front. And this is for old school. Here's the drain right here. If they want to have a bucket shower, they could do old school bucket shower. But then over here to the left, I put a shower in too. So you got the water, turn the water on here, and you got a shower and then the towel rack, and then a place to put your soap and shampoo right there. Thought it was pretty cool. Right over here in the corner, that's the hookup right there. If you can see a little chrome piece, that's what they have. Is they don't use toilet paper, but there's a hose hanging right there. And it's got a little squeeze thing on it, and that's what they use to wash their backside, because they don't use toilet paper in Indonesia. They wash it with the spray. That's why they say never shake a Indonesian person's left hand, because that's what they use to clean their backside, is their left hands. That's what my wife told me. And this is a ceramic I put in the courtyard, and I put rocks here, so you don't just see the dirt. So I thought it looked pretty cool. This actually looks like tree bark. When it's wet, you can see it very well. It looks like tree bark, but it's got dust on it from workers and everything. But very beautiful when it's wet. It looks like wet tree bark. It's showing the pump. Oh, yeah. Then again, like I said, that they didn't have to drill too far down, like 35 feet, something like that. We ended up putting a waterproof cap that I got from Singapore. What it is, it bolts over in it, and you lift it up and you can plug that in, and that can get wet and you won't have a short out. Just showing another area of the bathroom. This is the drain pipe. This is the drain pipe from upstairs. The servant has a square balcony, and it's just concrete. There's no ceramic. There's no ceramic at all upstairs. The bedroom and the service room is all concrete, and it's not paint or anything. Just whatever the concrete looks like, that's what it left. And no big deal. And all the water drains from upstairs and comes down and goes in there. And that's just standing in the courtyard facing. That's the bathroom, the front bedroom, and over there. Standing from the front door, looking back. This didn't take very long. I think it took about a month. These are just light switches for lights outside and lights in the small dining room. And they sold really quick. Now, like I said, that's what the kitchen looked like before we tore it down. This is in my brother-in-law's. I forgot to take more pictures of the one that we tore down, so I went over next door to my brother-in-law's townhome, and that's what the kitchen looks like. It looks exactly like the one we remodeled, but opposite. The sink's over here now. See how boring and bland that looks? They use white ceramic, and I think it looks ugly. The floor is white, that's white. Just bland. No color at all. Boring. And that's looking in the this is like I said, this is her brother's, what it looks like. There's the bathroom on that side, and then that's the big courtyard that goes that way, and this is the area where I closed in and made a bedroom. Pretty boring. See, that's the bedroom, the front bedroom, and that's the bathroom, how small it is. This is in her brother's and that's what the bathroom looks like in her brother's townhome. Pretty boring. You see, this is the old school. They fill this up with water. This is the hose that's tapped into there that they use to wash their backside, and it's boring. I don't like it. It's got the sharp edges here. That's why I changed the bathroom, and it's very small too. That's why that townhome sold so quick. And that's what it looks like. Boring, boring, boring. That's the bathroom. That's the sink. This is the pictures of her brother's townhouse. The one is on the left, so I'm just showing that's what it looked like. That's what the backyard, courtyard looks like. So boring. So I mean, you can see the difference that we made with this one compared to that one. And it's sold like that. And I tried to get her brother to let me do his, and he's like, no, he doesn't want to invest any money in it. He's just going to rent it out just like that. He doesn't care. He didn't care if the rain goes in there. He wasn't living there, so it didn't matter. But then again, you see his house, which the house he lived in, he inherited. He wanted it, and when his parents died, he got the very first house that his mother and father ever lived in. Uh, he inherited, and it was in such bad shape. The septic tank had collapsed. The septic tank is in the middle of the house. It had collapsed and it was broken, and the rats got into the pipes, and it stunk so bad in that house. And the first couple of months I lived in Indonesia. The first month I lived in that house, I couldn't stand it. The smell just driving me crazy. There's no air conditioning. Mosquitoes were getting me because the mosquitoes can just fly right through there. There's no screens or anything on them. And I was getting bit like crazy. My kids were getting bit. So we ended up packing up and coming. And on the other side of this is the parents' house, the big house. I lived in there for 2 months. And then I found out that all this property was the parents' property. So they were selling the parents' big house. So I ended up coming and living inside of one of these. Because they were selling the parents' house, and I didn't want to go back to her brother's house because it's so bad smell that when I lived in here, I had closed all this up. I taped it up. I put plastic on the outside, and I closed every single one of these, so no mosquitoes or anything could come in the house. And we got a portable AC unit that I kept in the room with me all the time, and I lived in here while I was building my house. And there you have it. There's the third thing that I had done while I was living in Indonesia. And after I got done with this home, we had to go to Bali because my wife's parents had some land in Bali that we had to go sell. So we flew to Bali. We stayed there for a month, and we sold the property out there. It was a really nice house. It wasn't anything designed like this because there's a lot of foreigners in Bali. So her father, he built a nice what they call a Manado style house, which I will show pictures of in a later video. They call it Manado style home, and he modernized it and made it really nice. And they were using it as rental for foreigners that would come to Bali, and they could rent it for a month or 2 months, however long they wanted to stay. Unfortunately, I didn't have any pictures of that because it was a spur of the moment trip we went, and I didn't take any cameras with me. And although that Bali is very beautiful, I didn't like it there. Too many tourists, too many foreigners. I just didn't like it. So then from Bali, we went to Manado, which is a whole nother couple-hour flight away. It's a whole nother island on Sulawesi, and then it's a little city called Manado. And they didn't have any property in Manado, but they had property in a little town called Sandar, which is about 2.5 hour drive from Manado. And when we went to Manado, man, I just fell in love with Manado because the city of Manado is right on the ocean. I mean, everywhere you look is the ocean. And there's a big secret in Manado, just north of Manado, about a 2-hour boat ride north of Manado, is an island called the Island of Bunaken. And the Island of Bunaken is the best kept scuba diving secret in the world. I mean, if you're a scuba diver, you probably know about it. It's the #1 place in the world to go scuba diving. I mean, you can go snorkeling, scuba diving, and you'll see sea turtles, all different kinds of fishes, sea snakes, sharks, and everything. And I loved it, man. We went there, I went snorkeling, and unfortunately I cut my foot on the reef, and my foot was bleeding really bad, so I had to get up on the boat because there's a lot of sharks that were swimming around in there. So I think the next video I will show I convinced my wife to convince her brother, because I love Manado so much, I wanted to stay in Manado. So when we came back to Jakarta, I told my wife, I don't want to live in Jakarta no more. I want to sell the house, and I want to move to Manado. I want to live in Manado, because she got a lot of family in Manado also, that not just her brothers live in Jakarta, but her dad's family. All her dad's side of the family, her aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews, and stuff like that live in Manado. There's a couple aunts and uncles in Bali, but the ones in Manado I got attached to, and I wanted to go live there, which I'll do in a different video. Her uncle was actually a radio disc jockey, like a celebrity there in Manado. So, but before I went, I convinced my wife to convince her brother to let me remodel his home, because I didn't feel right leaving my wife and staying in my brother-in-law's home, because it was in such bad shape and stunk that I told her, give me a month and let me remodel just the bottom part of the house, and then I'll feel okay. So when I go to Manado, I don't have feeling bad that you guys are living in such bad, poor conditions. So that'll be in the next video. So I hope you like this video. Remodeling a townhome in Indonesia. This is in Jeti Bening, Indonesia. And while I lived in Indonesia. Thanks for watching. Yeah, I'm gone.